Okay, so here's where we left off last time. So on our board right now, I can make my matches. The columns will collapse just like they're supposed to. If I right click on any piece, if I switch it, it turns into an adjacent bomb. So it destroys any pieces in this 3x3 square around it with that piece at the center. But we don't have any way to make those pieces be generated normally. Right now we're just generating them in this kind of fake manner where I right click and I create it. We also don't have any way to normally generate a color bomb. So that's what we're going to be going over today. So first thing we want to do is open up our dot script. Our dot script. So if we go all the way down to the bottom of the dot script here, we have two new methods we're going to make, and one of them I think I already made because I attempted to make this video earlier and had some errors in my code, and then I think I just forgot to remove this. So the first method we have to make is a public void, and this is to turn any regular piece into a color bomb. What we want to do in this method is we want to set isColorBomb to true, and we want to create a new game object, and I called this color, and that's instantiating the color bomb prefab at this whatever dot this is, transform dot position, with no rotation on it, quaternion dot identity. And then to make sure that it drops with the piece, I said that game object, which in this case was color, transform dot parent is equal to this dot transform, meaning this game object. So if I didn't already go through this, and I think I recorded a video where I went over doing this, and then I made a mistake, and then I ran out of time, and then I wanted to come back and fix stuff. So this is, I think, a holdover. We're going to make a similar method for our making an adjacent bomb. So we're going to do public void make adjacent bomb. And the functionality for this make adjacent bomb is going to be exactly what I currently have in my little debug method up here, where if I right click it turns it into an adjacent bomb. So I'm just going to copy these lines of code and then scroll back down to where I was making my make adjacent bomb method, and I will paste those lines of code in there. Okay, so I will save this. So now I have a method that from any place else, any other script, I can make a dot into a color bomb or make a dot into an adjacent bomb. So the next place I want to go looking is in my board class. And in my board class, I want to find my destroy matches at routine, or method, sorry. Right now, in my destroy matches at method, I'm checking to see if all dots column row get component dot is matched. So we're checking to see if a dot is matched. Then we're going to check how many pieces are in the find matches list of current matches. Now, right now I'm only checking for 4 or 7 to see if I need to make a row or column bomb. I'm going to expand this logic a little bit here. So what I want to do is instead I'm going to create a new method. I'm going to call this a private void, and I don't know, call it check to make bombs. How about? And then open close parentheses, and there we go. So instead of doing this, instead of doing all this in here, I'm only going to check to see if the current matches.count is greater than or equal to 4. And then instead of doing this find matches.check bombs, I'm going to take this out of here, so I'll cut that. And instead, I'm going to use check to make bombs as a method separate from that. So then in this check to make bombs little helper method here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if find matches dot current matches dot count is equal to 4, or find matches dot current matches dot count is equal to 7, then I'm going to paste in that little line of code that I cut, find matches dot check bombs, which is going to be to make a row or column bomb if the count is 4 or 7. Now, if the count is 5 or 8, I'm going to have to do something else. So if find matches dot current matches dot count is 5, or find matches dot current matches dot count is 8, then I'm going to have to make either a column, or sorry, not a column, a color or an adjacent BOM. But I need to be able to tell which one I should make. So to do that, I'm going to make another little helper method here so that I can kind of have my logic somewhere else. So this logic is essentially going to check to see how many pieces that are in that list are in one row or one column. So I'm going to say that this is, we'll call this a private, and this is going to return a true or a false value. And this is, so it's a Boolean, a bool, and this is going to be column or row. And I want to check to see if this has all of the pieces in one column or in one row. I don't need any arguments for this, so I'm leaving that empty. So what I want to do is I want to create two integers here. So integer, call this number horizontal, and we'll set it equal to 0. And we'll create another integer for number vertical and set that equal to 0. Now what I want to do here is I want to declare a first piece. So I'm going to say dot first piece is equal to, and I want this to be the first element in the find matches current matches list. So find matches dot current matches, and the first piece would be piece 0. Oh, and I want it to be the dot component of that. So dot get component, and the component I want to get is dot, and yeah, okay, cool. It liked that. All right, now what I want to do then is I want to go through everything that's in the current matches, and if it has the same row as that first piece, then I'm going to add to the number that are horizontal. If it has the same column as that first piece, I'm going to add to the number that are horizontal. Then I'm going to check to see how many horizontal or vertical I have, and if either of them is equal to 5, then that means I need to make a color BOM. If they're not equal to 5, then that means I need to make an adjacent BOM. So to go through all of those, I'm going to use a for each loop. So for each, and I want to do the game object, and I'll call this current piece in find matches dot current matches. So a for each loop essentially just goes through everything that's in there. I could use a for loop and have it be for int I equals 0 until I is less than current matches dot count, I plus plus. It would do the exact same thing. The for each loop I think is just a tiny bit simpler in this case. So I'm saying for each game object, and the game object I'm going to refer to it as current piece instead of having it to refer to it in the I notation I would use for a for loop. So for each game object current piece in find matches dot current matches, I want to say, oh wait, before I do this I want to do one check really quickly here. So I want to say if first piece is not equal to null, that's when I'll do this for each loop. If I'm not doing this for each loop, or sorry, if first piece is null, then I won't do this for each loop, because if first piece is null, that means there's nothing in here, and so I don't want to do this loop, which could possibly cause some bad stuff to happen. Yeah, okay, cool. So now what I want to do is inside here I want to say if let's do current piece dot, actually let's do this first. So let's say, I just want to make my logic a little simpler. I want to say dot, we'll just call it dot is equal to current piece dot get component, and the component I want to get is the dot component. It's going to make my logic just a little bit simpler. And then in here I'm going to say if dot dot row is equal to first piece dot row, then I want to increase the number that are horizontal. Then I'll say number, not vertical, number horizontal plus plus. And when we're doing our first piece, it'll automatically turn that into 1 then. And I want to say if dot dot row is equal to first piece dot column, sorry, not dot dot row, dot dot column. Cool. Is equal to first piece dot column. Then I want to do number vertical plus plus. Okay, cool. So this is going to go through, and if there's 5 things of the same row, number horizontal will be 5. If there's 5 things of the same column, number vertical will be 5. So then down here, outside of my if statement, I'm going to do a return, and I'm going to return whether or not one of those two is 5. So I'm going to return number vertical double equal to 5, or number horizontal double equal to 5. So one thing that a lot of students when they're new to programming have trouble understanding is what the double equals means versus what the single equals means. And so here's the difference between those two. The single equals is assigning a value. So like here, we're saying first piece is equal to this. So we're changing the value of first piece. We're creating this container and then assigning what's inside the container. The double equals does not change this. I'm not changing the row of that dot. Instead, I'm checking to see if this dot's row is the same as this dot's row, and that will return either a true or a false value. So the double equals is checking one thing versus another, whereas the single equals is assigning a value. It's changing the value. The double equals doesn't change the value. Okay, anyway, so this whole thing here is just a little helper method that's going to tell us if we have 5 pieces in one column or one row. And so then what we want to do is we want to check that. So we'll say if is column, what did I call that? Column, did I just call it column or row? Yeah. If column or row, then I'm going to do a little comment here and say make a color bomb, else make a adjacent bomb. So I'm going to add a debug statement here because I just want to make sure I've done quite a bit of code here. I want to make sure my code works. So debug.log, make a color bomb. And then down here, I'll do debug.log, make a adjacent bomb. Okay, cool. So I'm going to save my code really quickly. I'm going to pop back into Unity, and I'm going to play for a bit until I get to a situation where I should have either a color bomb or an adjacent bomb be spawned. So I'm probably going to speed up this footage here. Okay, cool. See you in just a bit. Okay, so I'm in a situation here right now where it should see an adjacent bomb being made. Because I've got these two here and these two here. So if I move this orange piece over, it should say that it should make an adjacent bomb down there in our debug log. So if I move that over, sweet, it knew to make an adjacent bomb. That means that it read that there was a match of 5 and there weren't 5 in a row. So cool. Let's go back into our board class here, and let's take out these debug statements and let's change this logic to make it a bit better. So what I want to do is cover a couple different cases. So if it's column or row, I want to make a color bomb. And if I want to make a color bomb, first I want to check to see is the current dot matched. And if so, then I want to unmatch it and turn it into a color bomb. So I'm going to say if current dot is not equal to null. So first I have to make sure it exists. And then we're going to say if current dot is matched, then I want to do a couple different things. I want to first check to make sure it's not already a color bomb, because I want to keep making it a color bomb over and over again. So if we'll say not current dot is color bomb, then I'm going to say that current dot is matched is false. And see, single equals error because I'm actually changing a value. And current dot make color bomb. Okay, cool. So that's going to make it a color bomb. Now, if the current dot isn't the one that's matched, then we have to check to see if the other piece is matched. So let's say else. Now I want to check to see if the other dot exists. If current dot other dot is not equal to null. So if it exists, then I want to check to see if the other dot is matched. So let's do a quick little reference here that's going to make our code simpler. Let's say dot other dot equals current dot other dot get component dot. It's because we want to get the dot component of that. And we're going to say if other dot is matched. So we're just now checking if it's matched, and if other dot, if not other dot is color bomb. Then we're going to say other dot is matched equals false, and other dot make color bomb. Okay, so our logic is pretty much exactly the same for making an adjacent bomb. So I can copy and paste a whole bunch of this. So I'm going to grab from there to there. Yep, that's what I want. So I'll copy this and I'll paste it right there. Only instead of making a color bomb, I'm going to make an adjacent bomb. And then oh yeah, and I want to check to make sure it's not already an adjacent bomb. Okay, and then here not is adjacent bomb, and make adjacent bomb. Okay, let me save this really quickly, and then I want to just review my code super fast. I could totally refactor this to make it simpler, but for the moment, it's going to be okay. So if our count is 5 or 8, we're going to check to see if it's a column or row. If it is a column or row, and current dot exists, and current dot is matched, and current dot isn't already a color bomb, then we'll unmatch it, pardon me, and make it a color bomb. Otherwise, if the current dot's other dot exists, then if the other dot is matched, if it's not already a color bomb, then we'll unmatch it and make it a color bomb. And it's the exact same logic here, just instead of being color bombs, it's adjacent bombs. So I'm going to save this, I'm going to pop back into Unity, and I'm going to play for a while and see if my adjacent and color bombs will spawn like they're supposed to. So I'm going to speed this footage up here. Okay, actually, this is me again from the future. What I'm going to do is just make my life easier. If there's 8 pieces, it's going to be more difficult to find a match. I'm going to cut it down to 4 pieces. That just means I need to fix it later. But 4 pieces means I'm much more likely to have a situation where I'd have an adjacent bomb or a color bomb. So we're going to try it like this. So yeah, right away. This situation right here should make an adjacent bomb when I swing this one in there. Cool, it did. And if I flip-flop that, sweet, it acted like it was supposed to. Nice job. Okay, let's see if I can get a color bomb to spawn here. So I'll fast forward this part. Okay, I'm pausing it here again. So there's one more place where I should get an adjacent bomb if I flip-flop these two, because then I'll get this L shape. So, sweet, that worked like it was supposed to. So again, I'm going to keep playing until I find a color bomb. Okay, pardon me. So here we are, moment of truth. We got 2 teals, teal, teal, teal. So I'm going to flip-flop this into there. Whoa, that turned into a color bomb. All right, so I'm going to play a little bit more, just make sure it'll turn into a color bomb if I go in the other direction. So yeah, again, I'll meet you back here. Okay, so here's the situation. If I swap this with that, I should get a color bomb. And there we go. Nope, and it went away. It went away because of a logic error that we need to fix. If you have your board with only 4 pieces, first of all, the game is way too easy. Second of all, every once in a while you'll run into these edge cases that almost never happen when you have your board at 8 pieces, like we do. But anyway, I'm going to switch my board back to 8 pieces, and then I'll fill in the other ones again. So for the most part, that's it. There's some cleaning up we need to do, but that gives us mostly a functioning match 3 system here that's really similar to what Candy Crush has. Now there's more stuff we need to add. We need to make sure that the bombs will chain. Like if you get one bomb off of the back of another bomb, you should be able to have the extra bomb effect, which we're not always doing. Sometimes it does it, doesn't always do it. So we need to fix that. We need to add in the blank spaces. We need to add in the gelatin. That if you make a match over it, it kind of breaks down a bit. So there's still a lot of stuff we need to add. And then of course there's UI and pause screens and all that stuff. But for the most part, we have a pretty well functioning base here. So yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below. You can contact me on Twitter or follow me on Twitter if you want to know when I post new videos. I am @TaftCreates. So yeah, have yourself a wonderful day.